Chris,
Stat sheet.
Dan Wyke, Orange County Register.
I know you did.
It's for the television audience.
Oh.
They don't know.
Thank you.
There was a time, I think, in the fourth quarter where you kind of looked out of the court, you saw what the bench was doing, you kind of looked over at Doc and said, are you sure you want to put us in? What have you seen from that group here in these first few games, and especially tonight?
That was a good observation by you, first and foremost. But, they were rolling. They went on like a 5-6-0 run. And me and Blake, we sort of always do that. If we were about to check into the game, but those guys look like they're in a good rhythm, then we've all been together long enough to know, let them keep rolling, let them keep going until they really need a break.
Chris, James Allen, Angels Radio, AM 830. Doc said, and I am paraphrasing, that you guys could have played better defense, but you held them to 34% from the floor. I mean, how would you evaluate the defensive job you guys did out there?
Could have been better. That's why we're going to come in tomorrow and watch film. Dame is tough to defend, which is why we always giving those different looks to him and stuff like that. But tonight I could have done a better job, not just giving them all the backdoor layups and dunks and things like that.
Eric Pingus, Basketball Insiders. Chris, compared to last year, where do you think the team is? You've only played 2 good playoff games, so it's very early, but do you feel that there's clear differences from where you were last year at this point?
Given how last year ended with us, obviously there's a sense of urgency. Guys know how valuable each game is, how valuable each possession is. So, we'll see. We did what we were supposed to do and winning 2 games at home. And now we know going to Portland, it's a tough place to play, but we got to come in ready to play.
Rowan Kazner, Clippers.com. You touched on this after game. Okay, you touched on this after game 1 about your confidence in the backup group, but to go into every game knowing you could be comfortable if they send 5 guys from the bench out in the playoffs, what does that do for you going into the game?
It's great. It's great. One thing about our bench, what they've been doing in this series is that if we come out the game up 6, when we go back in the game, we may be up 10, we're up 12. And we just need those guys to keep playing with that confidence. And that's why we're a team. Some nights we're going to have it going, and they're going to need us to pick them up and vice versa.
Chris, Michael Duarte, NBCLA. You said how difficult it is to guard Dame, but you've outscored him the first 2 games of this series. Is part of your strategy to attack on the offensive end, make him guard you and chase you?
He didn't guard me tonight. You know what I mean? So that's not part of the thing to try to attack him. I just try to take on the offensive end, what the defense gives me. But defensively, I think that's where I'm frustrated at how I defended tonight. For me going into the game, Doc even said it before the series, he's going to need me on the defensive end more than anything. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Chris, speaking of your defense, a lot of talk about Luke and what he's done this year. In your mind, what has he meant to this team this year defensively?
Luke has been amazing. Luke's a man of few words, but he just plays the game the right way. He plays hard, doesn't need any recognition. But I guarantee you ask anybody on our team who's one guy that they depend on and look to and always know they're going to be where they're supposed to be is Luke.
All right, last question.
Chris, there was a hope that through all the injuries and stuff you guys had to deal with this year, that you guys would find different ways to play, different ways to win. Have you seen different ways from you guys here in these first 2 games?
Yeah, I think so. We're pretty confident in any lineup that Doc puts on the floor. Down the stretch when me and Blake came in, he tapped me and was like, CP, I'm the 5, because he got Cole out the game. So we're pretty comfortable, with all the different things we've been through and whatever lineup we have on the court.
All right, thanks, guys. Lillard's up next.